What's up, guys? Today's episode we're going to be talking about merging plugins together. The reason that this is going to be an essential episode is because in the previous episode, after the weather and lighting mods we installed, we reached our plugin count of 139. So if you've been following my tutorials exactly, you will also have 139 ESPs/ESMs installed in Mod Organizer. Now the problem with that is the Game Biro engine, which is the engine that Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, most of the Bethesda games, I know it's Obsidian, but it's on the same engine we're made on. And after the game was released, they're having some issues, so instead of just fixing those issues, they just set a hard cap on ESP limit, which was 140. So we can't go over 140. Even if you do get to like 138, 140, 139, things can get unstable. As far as it was concerned for me, I was pretty stable on things, but we still can't go over the 140. So as you can see over in my ESP or files tab on the Mod Organizer, I have gotten it down to 104 plugins, basically 103 because we aren't going to be using that. That's never going to be installed, but it counts the ones that you don't have enabled anyways. So how did I do this? We're going to be using an application called Merge Plugin Standalone. If you don't know what this is, I'm going to leave a link to the video to Gamer Poet's channel that they did an in-depth look at what this program does and how to use it. I'm not going to be going too in-depth on how, all of the different parts about it. I'm just going to be showing you guys how to merge the mods that we need to merge together. So I merged together some Tale 2 Wastelands optional files, the hotfixes for Tale 2 Wastelands, the Uncut patches, Monster Mod Wasteland Edition, A World of Pain patches, Tale 2 Wastelands Interiors patches, and interior lighting overhaul patches. Also, realistic wasteland lighting enhanced patches merged. So that cut our load order down by 35. So that's pretty good because we still have a few more mods to install. So going over to the Nexus page and download this manually. Once it's finished downloading, bring that onto your desktop, and you can take this anywhere you want. So for example, I just have a folder on my desktop called Utilities, and I have all my New Vegas stuff in this folder. So now you can make a new folder on your desktop and just name it Merge Plugins, and you can extract the merge plugins to that folder. Actually, you don't even need to make a new folder. You can just extract it to your desktop. And then I'm not going to do this step because I've already done it, but wherever you want that to be, like I said, I have all my stuff just in here so it's organized. You would just drag and drop this into that folder. Like I said, I've already got mine done as here. So now the next step is going to be getting that to run through Mod Organizer. So if you open up Mod Organizer and drop down your little executables tab and hit edit, mine's already done here, but if it's not, all you're going to do is title it a new one, Merge Plugins. And then you're going to click on the binary browse file system, and then from your desktop you're just going to go and find where you had that installed. So I had mine installed I had mine installed on desktop, utilities folder, New Vegas stuff, and then merge plugins, and then you just find that exe and open, and there you go. Mine's already done, so I can't continue because it's the same thing, so I'd just be modifying it. But yours is going to say add here, so when you do that, hit add, and I'm not going to change anything. Alright, so then we hit the drop down list and we find merge plugins and we run it. Now it's going to bring up all of the games that it finds you have installed. So if you're doing Tale of Two Wastelands, you're at least going to have Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas installed. Just click on Fallout New Vegas and make sure that this is the right directory for the game, and then hit OK. Now this is going to load up all your plugins. Just for the sake of showing you guys what to do, I'm going to hit uncheck all for now and hit OK, because we have to set up a few things first. So we're going to go over to the Options tab in Merge Plugins, and under merging, the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that handle self-references is already checked. I think by default it's unchecked, so go ahead and check that. And then under integrations, we are using Mod Organizer. I think the default is I'm using Nexus Mod Manager. So what you're going to do is check I'm using Mod Organizer, and then it's going to ask you for Mod Organizer's path. So if you followed my installation instructions, it's going to be in your game folder, so just find that. And then it's going to ask you where the Mod Manager mods path is, so it'd just be in the Mod Organizer folder, and then there's a mods folder inside that. And then for copy general assets, what this does is, if you have this enabled, it's going to copy over the textures, anything other than the ESP files when you merge a file. So we're going to go ahead and uncheck this, because all we want is the ESPs and stuff to come over. I'll explain that later, more on that later, but go ahead and hit OK for now, and we can exit out of that. So I've already made all my patches. The reason it took so long to get this episode up is because I've done extensive testing, making sure everything that I've merged together still works. So yeah, everything that we merged together today you shouldn't have any issues with. I'm going to go ahead and uninstall all my merge patches so that we can go through and I can show you how to install them. So I'm going to go and uninstall them all, and then I'll be back. Alrighty, so here we are back with our 138 plugins. So this should be similar to where you guys are, so go ahead and run merge plugins. And now if you followed all the settings at the beginning of this episode, you'll already have everything all set up the way you need it set up. So now what we're going to do is you're going to right click and hit uncheck all. And the first mod we're going to merge are the Tale of Two Wastelands optional files. So after some testing, I have found that only some of these can be merged together without any issues, those being Anchorage customization, No Karma DC followers, Outcast trading, speech checks, start menu, stash pack options, and Wild Wasteland. The reputation, Tale of Two Wastelands reputation has issues, and the Tale of Two Wastelands options has issues. The options is the mod configuration menu for Tale of Two Wastelands. Everything else works, so there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You should have 7 ESPs checked, and we're going to make that down to 1 ESP. You're also going to have to select the master files for those, so anything in red you also have to check. It's not even going to let you proceed until you have everything checked, so go ahead and check all of the master files for those. And then, okay, we look good. So these dark red ones, don't worry about those. It's just like the bright red ones that you have to check. Once it says okay, you're good to go. So now it's going to load all those up, and you'll see that we get this menu here. If it says background loader in progress, you can't really do anything. It's just loading up these files. So we'll go ahead and wait for that to finish up, and then we'll come back. Okay, so once the background loader is finished, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to take all of these ESPs and combine them down into one ESP. So what you're going to do is click the first one, shift click the last one, right click and hit add to merge, new merge, and we're going to name this Tale of Two Wastelands Optionals Merged. Copy and paste that and name the ESP file the same thing, and OK. So now we're going to go over to the merges tab, and you'll see the merge we just made here. Now mine might look a little different from yours because I've already resolved all the errors, but If yours is any color other than green, right click, scroll down to plugins and hit either check plugins for errors or resolve issues, and then after that hit fix errors and plugins until it's green, and then after you've done all that hit build merge. Okay, and then once it says all done you can close this, then we can close out. Then back in Mod Organizer you're going to hit this little screwdriver and wrench icon and go down to refresh, and you'll see we have a new mod down here, Tale 2 Wastelands Optionals Merged. We can open this up and look at the file tree, and as you see it's one ESP, and if you hit the drop down folder or if you hit the drop down folder for merge, you can see all of the ESPs are merged into one. So now what we're going to do is drag and drop this up right underneath the original mod, which is Tale 2 Wastelands Optional Files. Now we're actually going to click on the original one, the Tale 2 Wastelands Optional Files, and go over to Optional ESPs, and we're going to move everything that we just merged into the new ESP up into the Optional ESPs. So we merged Anchorage Customization, No Karma, Outcast Trading, Speech Checks, Startup Menu, Stash Pack Options, and Wild Wasteland. So the only two that should be still in your available ESPs is Tale 2 Wastelands Options and Tale 2 Wastelands Reputations. So now you can go ahead and close out of this and enable that new mod that we just made. And there you have it, all 7 of those ESPs that are in, oops, clicked on the wrong one. All 7 of the ESPs that are in this optional section are now in one ESP in the new mod. So that just saved us 6 spaces. 6 plugin spaces. That gives us 6 more mods we can add to our final load order. But we're not going to stop there. We're actually going to do the hotfixes merge next. And when I say hotfixes, I mean the mods that we downloaded from Tale 2 Wastelands site that just simply were a little hotfix. We have Vault Suit hotfix, Sonic Emitter projectile fix, Reload Speed game start fix, and Repcon test site fixes. So to make this a little easier, what we're going to do is unenable all 4 of those mods and re-enable them. Now the reason we're doing that is because when we load up merge plugins and we uncheck all of our files, the first reason we're going to be doing it is because it's a little easier to find all those if they're at the bottom. So go ahead and enable all those. There's 4 of them. And then go up and enable the masters. That requires. And then hit OK. And now the second reason we unenabled all 4 of those fixes and then re-enabled them and to put them at the bottom of the load order, the second reason was because when we're merging plugins, if you try to merge ESPs that are not contiguous, like just say for example this Tale 2 Wastelands, I mean this wouldn't happen, but say for example this Tale 2 Wastelands ESM was in between this ESP file and this ESP file, then it wouldn't allow us to merge these 2 with these 2. They have to be contiguous. So just keep that in mind when we get to the ones that have more plugins. So same thing, click the first one, shift click the last one, add to merge, and we're going to do new merge. And I'm going to name this one Tale 2 Wastelands Hotfixes Merged. Then I'm just going to copy and paste that into the ESP. And go over to the merges tab. As I said before, I've already done these, so it's going to remember that and that it's already checked for errors. So check plugin for errors, and then if it has any errors, fix plugin errors, and then build merge. Once it says all done, close. Once again, hit this little drop down arrow, refresh, and there's our new mod. So we can drag and drop this up and put it underneath the last one, which was the Repcon test site fixes. Now this one's going to be a little different. So when we're merging something that's not simply an ESP file, like the Sonic Emitter projectile fix has a meshes folder, and all the other ones, oops, that wasn't one of them. All the other ones were simply an ESP. So as you can see in the other ones, there's no folders. So if we look at the merged file we just made and we looked at the file tree, we can see that all we have is an ESP here. We don't have the meshes folder from the OWB sonic emitter projectile fix. Now if you remember when we were talking about the things we needed to enable for merge plugins, we disabled copy general assets. If we would have left that enabled, the meshes folder from this mod also would have been merged over into the merge file. So we would see a meshes folder here. Now the reason I advise you against doing that is because we actually want to leave these mods in our load order. That way if there's an update to the mod, we can see that. If we just merge those all together, this doesn't have a Nexus page, so when we go to check our mods for updates, we won't be able to see. This file is not going to tell us if one of these files has an update. So that's why I recommend doing it the way I'm doing it. So all we're going to do is enable the one we just made. We're going to disable the ones that were simply an ESP, so the RepCon test site fixes, the reload game start fix, and then the Vault hotsuit, or the Vault suit hotfix. Now we're going to have to leave this one enabled because it has the meshes folder, but we're going to go over to optional ESPs and move the ESP up into the optional ESP section. But the meshes will still be loaded because of this mod. The hotfix is merged. Okay, and so that does it for the hotfixes. Next, we're going to be talking about the Uncut patches, which is right here. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ESPs are going to be merging together for this one. So as I said before, disable that and re-enable it so that it puts all of the ESP files towards the bottom, and then start the merge plugins, uncheck all, and then go find that. As I said, it was 5, so we have New Vegas Bounties 2, Russell, Inheritance, Project Nevada. That's 4 of them. Okay, so it looks like they didn't load up next to each other, so let's go back. New Vegas Uncut. So it looks like Russell is missing, so what we want to do is go over to our plugins file and find that patch. So it's New Vegas Uncut. Okay, so it looks like it was actually the New Vegas Bounties one. So we're going to drag and drop this down so that it's right next to the other 4. Now we can run merge plugins again, uncheck all, and then find those 5 ESPs. New Vegas Bounties 2, Russell, Inheritance, Project Nevada, and New Vegas Bounties 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have to enable all the masters, so the ones that are in bright red, and then OK. Now we are here. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So click the first one and then shift click the last one. Add to merge. And I'm just going to name this New Vegas Uncut Patches Merged. I'm going to copy and paste that into the ESP file. OK. Merges tab. As I said, always check for errors, resolve issues, fix errors, and then build merge, and then close. And when you're doing that, if it's already green when you start, you don't have to worry about any of this. They'll be grayed out anyway, so you just build it straight away. Then refresh, and now we can move the Uncut Patches Merged up underneath New Vegas Uncut. Now we can go to the original mod, New Vegas Uncut for Tale 2 Wastelands, and move all of those ESPs we just merged up into the optional ESPs. So the Inheritance, New Vegas Bounties 1 and 2, Project Nevada, and Russell. So that's all 5 of them there. And now we enable the new mod. And that took those 5 ESPs down and merge them into one. The next one we're going to be doing is the Monster Mod Wasteland Edition. If you look, we have 3 ESPs here. These can be merged into one. So what we're going to do is disable this Monster Mod Wasteland Edition and re-enable it so that those are all together. I don't know why, but sometimes it doesn't put them all together, so just make sure you put them all together. So there's 2 of them. There it is. So just make sure those are all 3 right next to each other, and then run merge plugins, uncheck all, then find those 3 files, Monster Mod Wasteland Edition, MMWE lore out, and no werewolves. And then we have to enable the masters yet again, then OK, and then click the first one and shift click the last one, add to merge, and I'm just going to name this Monster Mod Wasteland Edition merged. Then I'm going to name that the same for the ESP. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the merges tab. Once again, if it's any color, add it to green, check plugin for errors, and then fix errors, and then build a merge. And then once it says all done, close, refresh. Then we can drag and drop this up under Monster Mod Wasteland Edition. And we're going to go over to the original mod, Monster Mod Wasteland Edition, and move all of those ESPs up into the optional. And we still have the meshes folder here, so we need to keep that mod enabled, and then check the new one, and that one's done. Next, we're going to be doing a World of Pain for New Vegas merged. We actually have several different mods that we're going to be merging together for this one. So if you remember, we did a World of Pain Revisions, and a World of Pain Voices. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ESPs from just the original mod. We have 2 ESPs from a World of Pain Revisions, and then we have 1 ESP from a World of Pain Voices. So we're going to go ahead and uninstall, or not uninstall, but unenable all 3 of those. Then we're going to re-enable all 3 of those. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was all we had, I believe. Just let me double check. And I do recommend counting these just to be sure that you have them all, so you don't have to go back and do it again. So yeah, we had 10 here, and we had 10 over here. So merge plugins, and then uncheck all, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that was all of those files from those mods. Then we need to enable those masters, and then OK. And the background loader might take a little longer on this one since it's so many more ESPs. We'll come back once that's finished up. Alrighty, and then once that's finished up, click the first one, shift click the last one, add to merge, new merge. I'm just going to name this A World of Pain Patches, which I'm going to name it A World of Pain New Vegas merged. And then I'm going to copy and paste that under the ESP. Now we can go over to the merges tab. Once again, plugins, check plugin for error, and then fix errors. If it's not already green, then build merge. And then close once it says all done, and then you can exit out of that. Refresh, and there it is. So we can bring this up under A World of Pain Voices. Now we're going to go back to the original World of Pain mod for New Vegas, open up the optional ESPs tab, move Russell, Fallout Character Overhaul, MoMod, Vendor Patch, Storage, Low NPCs, and Robots all 7 of those up into the optional ESP file or tab, and then close that out, and then revisions. These are actually simply the only thing in this entire mod is ESP, so we can actually go ahead and unenable World of Pain revisions. But as I said before, we're going to keep that in our load order. That way, if it was ever updated, we'd be able to see that. Then a World of Pain voices. It had a sound folder, so we're going to move the ESP up into the optional ESPs and leave that mod enabled, and then enable our new merged mod. And that does it for the World of Pain merge. As you can see, if you look over, we're already down to 114, but we're going to keep going for a few more. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the Tale of Two Wastelands Interiors patches. So if you look at Tale of Two Wastelands Interiors project, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 ESPs that are simply patches for Ezra mods that we can just drop down into one ESP. So go ahead and close that out. Disenable Tale of Two Wastelands Interior project and re-enable that. And hopefully it puts those all together. So as I said, we had 5, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure they're all together. And there's the 5th one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, so then we can run merge plugins. Uncheck all, and then find those 5 ESPs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, so it looks like we made a mistake here. These are not contiguous, so we're gonna have to cancel this out. Move that realistic wasteland lighting out of those 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Oh, I thought we had all 5, but apparently we didn't. Here's the other one, Sortomatic. So grab that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can run merge plugins. Uncheck all. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to need the masters for all those, so that one. Then OK. And we wait for this background loader to finish up. Alrighty, so once the background loader is finished, right click or click the first one, and then shift click the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just double check on that. Then we're going to hit add to merge, new merge, and we're going to call this one Tale of Two Wastelands Interiors Patches Merged. And then just name the ESP the same thing. Then OK. Over to the merges tab. Once again, if it's any color other than green, check plugin for errors, and then fix errors, and then build merge. Once it says all done, go ahead and hit close, and close out of that. Refresh. And there it is. So drag and drop it under Tale of Two Wastelands Interiors project. Now we can open up the original Tale of Two Wastelands Interiors project, go to the optional ESPs and move all 5 of those up into the optional ESP section. And then leave that enabled, but we can go ahead and enable our new ESP. Alrighty, so moving on to the next one, we're going to be talking about interior lighting overhaul. The patches for that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have another 5 that we can merge into one. So go ahead and disenable or unenable interior lighting overhaul and re-enable it. As you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's the World of Pain one. So just drag it down so that you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe that was the number. Let me just double check. Yep, we're not going to be merging the Ultimate Edition one in because that's not a patch. That's the actual mod. So, yep. So run merge plugins. Uncheck all. Scroll down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interior lighting overall patches. Then enable all the masters once again. And then OK. Alrighty, so once they're all done, just double check the F5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Click the first one, shift click the last one, add to merge. And we're going to name this ILO patches merged. Then just copy and paste that to name the ESP file the same thing. And then OK, go to the merges tab. Same deal, you're probably getting used to it now. Check plugins for errors, fix errors, and then build merge. Then once it says all done, close out of that, refresh, and drag and drop it. Now we can go to the original mod, move those 5 ESPs up into the optional ESP section, and then enable our new mod. And then lastly, we're going to be doing the realistic wasteland lighting enhancement merge. So we have 1, 2, 3 ESPs we can merge together here. So go ahead and unenable that and re-enable it. So we've got, let me just double check on the name of those. We've got New Vegas Bounties 2 patch, Interior Sounds, and Russell patch. So there's the New Vegas Bounties 2 one, there's the Russell, and then we just needed Interior Sounds. So just make sure those 3 are in order. Interior Sounds, Russell, and New Vegas Bounties 2. Then we can run merge plugin. Uncheck all. Find those 3 ESP files. Realistic Wasteland Lighting Russell patch, Interior Sounds, New Vegas Bounties 2 patch, and then after that enable all of the master files. And then OK. Wait for the background loader once again. Alrighty, once the background loader is done, click the first one of the 3 and then the last one of the 3 by shift clicking. Right click, add to merge, and then we're going to call this RWLE patches merged. And then we're just going to copy and paste. Oops. Then OK, merges, you know the drill, plugins, check plugins for errors, fix, and then build merge. Once it says all done, close, refresh. Sometimes you have to refresh twice. There we go. Drag and drop it. Move all of the optional ESPs from the original mod up into the optional ESP section, or all the ESPs we merged up into the optional ESP section, and enable the new one. Alright, so the last thing we're going to have to talk about in this section is load order. So as you know, we've been using loot up to this point. We're going to keep using loot, but for the files we just made, these are made up file names, so these are not going to be recognized by loot's master list. So we're going to have to do some of our own stuff here. So what we're going to go ahead and do for now is run loot, sort plugins, and then apply. So if we scroll down to the bottom here, we can see some of our patches here. Not all there, it did move them some, but it's just guessing. It doesn't actually know where they need to go. So we're going to exit out of that, and we're going to find our patches. So the first one we did was the optional patches, so we want to find that, which was the Tale 2 Wastelands optionals merged. Now this one's going to be easy because we just merged them in order. So this goes right in between Tale 2 Wastelands Reputation and optionals. So go ahead and leave that one there. Then the next one we did was the hotfixes. We can go ahead and move this up as well, right under the Tale 2 Wastelands options. And then we have the uncut patches. So the inheritance is lowest, so we're going to move that right under the inheritance. Then the next one we did was the Monster Mod Wasteland Edition merged. What we're going to do for that one is go ahead and move it right under the normal Monster Mod Okay, so here's MoMod Aliens. So we're going to move it right under MoMod Aliens. And then the next one we did was the A World of Pain patches. So let's see if we can find that one over here. So A World of Pain New Vegas merged. If we look at the original World of Pain mod, the ones we still have are only ESM files. So we're going to take a look at the patches. Russell, MoMod. Okay, so the lowest one in our load order is either going to be MoMod or Russell. Let's just look. MoMod's there. Yep, so what we're going to do is we're going to move that A World of Pain patch, or excuse me, A World of Pain New Vegas merged, right under the last patch, Monster Mod Wasteland Edition merged. And then we had the interiors, so let's just check that as well. Sortomatic streetlights, Wasteland lighting, that's going to be the lowest one. So yeah, we can go ahead and leave that one where it is. And the interior lighting overhaul patches, let's see what our patches were for that one. Willow, Bounties, A World of Pain. So we're going to move that right below the A World of Pain patch. And then lastly we had the Realistic Wasteland lighting patches, which you're going to want to load that one very last. So yeah. Now what you want to do for those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 merged files, we're going to right click them and hit lock load order, so that when we run loot, those are not moved. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we had 6, and the other ones are at the top. 7 and 8. So now if we run loot, so this should apply here. Then we can exit out of loot, and as you can see, those are all still in the place we put them. So yeah, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna hop in the game and I will give you guys the final bits of information about this episode. Alrighty guys, so that's gonna do it for this episode. We successfully went from 138, I believe it was, plugins to 104. So that gives us at least 34 more plugins we can add to our load order. We're probably not going to add that many. A lot of the stuff left is just more retextures and stuff which don't require an ESP. And some more of the stuff that we're adding we're going to be merging as well, so this episode will be useful for that. The next episode we are going to be talking about armory and clothing. So yeah, that's going to require some merging, some of the stuff we talked about today. After that, all we've got left are, let me check here, weapons, animations, audio, and then just some small gameplay mods. I might do audio and gameplay together, so 3 to 4 more episodes probably before this whole series is done. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you continue watching this series, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.
Well, look who it is. Let's see what you...